There comes a moment in every man's life when he confronts a hard truth. His greatest battles were never external. They were taking place inside his own mind. A weak mind avoids discomfort, seeks distraction, reacts on impulse, and waits for life to become easier. But Marcus Aurelius never waited for ease. He forged a mind that could not be broken. A mind disciplined enough to remain calm in chaos, strong enough to resist temptation, and clear enough to govern an empire. And the truth is simple. You don't need more motivation. You don't need a miracle. You need to dismantle the weak parts of your mind that have been quietly sabotaging you for years. Today, you'll learn the exact Stoic principles Marcus Aurelius used to build inner strength that no circumstance, no person, and no emotion could shake. Before we begin, anchor your intention. Comment: I destroy my weak mind. 1. Weak minds crave comfort. A weak mind rarely collapses all at once. It erodes quietly through small retreats, subtle avoidance, and tiny decisions that choose comfort over progress. It's not dramatic. It's subtle, almost gentle, and that's what makes it dangerous. Every real transformation in your life was born from discomfort. You grew when you were challenged. You evolved when you were pushed. You changed when you were forced to face what you wanted to avoid. Discomfort has always been the birthplace of strength. Comfort has always been the birthplace of decline. Marcus Aurelius understood this with a clarity most people today lack. His wisdom wasn't written during peaceful vacations or easy seasons. He wrote during military campaigns, plagues, betrayal, and exhaustion. He faced life without armor and built the armor within. He knew that when the mind grows soft, the man becomes fragile. He left us this reminder: the mind adapts to whatever it repeatedly experiences. In other words, your mind is shaped by what you consistently choose. Choose ease, and your mind weakens. Choose challenge, and your mind becomes unshakable. The modern world worships comfort. Everything is instant, convenient, numbing, and easy. But convenience has a hidden cost. Every moment of "I'll do it later" drains your inner strength. Every escape into distraction lowers your resilience. Every day spent avoiding difficulty trains your mind to collapse under pressure. This is why so many people break when life becomes unpredictable. They never built the psychological muscle required for adversity. They lived inside emotional air conditioning, then wondered why reality felt unbearable. Strength is built the opposite way, by moving toward challenges, not away from them, by choosing the task you fear instead of the task you prefer, by doing the uncomfortable thing until discomfort no longer controls you. Consider something simple: waking up when you said you would. A weak mind negotiates, hesitates, and reaches for excuses. A strong mind rises, even when it doesn't feel like it. These quiet decisions shape the architecture of your character. Think about the conversations you've been avoiding. The weak mind hides from them. The strong mind faces them, knowing honesty hurts once, but avoidance hurts forever. Consider physical discipline, movement, training, cold exposure, intentional strain. The weak mind avoids challenge. The strong mind uses challenge to sharpen itself. Marcus Aurelius didn't strengthen his mind by asking for an easier world. He strengthened it by refusing to run from a difficult one. He treated discomfort as a forge, heat that turns raw metal into a blade. And here is the truth: your mind is always learning from you. Every time you step into discomfort, it learns courage. Every time you retreat, it learns fear. So build a daily practice around this principle. Do one thing each day your weaker self wants to avoid. Not to punish yourself, but to prove you are stronger than your impulses. It might be a moment of cold, honesty, exertion, discipline, or responsibility you've delayed. Interrupt the comfort impulse the moment it appears. When your mind whispers, "Not now," do the opposite. Act before emotion negotiates your potential away. Adopt the identity of someone who handles difficulty, not someone who waits for motivation, but someone who acts from principle. Identity shapes habits far more than mood ever will. Discomfort is not the enemy. Discomfort is the teacher, the gateway, the test, the truth. A weak mind fears discomfort because it fears facing its true self. A strong mind embraces discomfort because it understands that strength is forged, not given. Anchor this belief with a quiet promise to yourself. Comfort is the cage, I break it. 2. Weak minds react. Strong minds respond. A weak mind is ruled by impulse. It fires back too quickly, speaks without thinking, assumes before understanding, and collapses into anger, fear, or frustration at the smallest trigger. It behaves like a sparked flame, bright for a moment, but easily extinguished. A strong mind is different. It observes before engaging. It pauses, interprets, and chooses its response instead of surrendering to reflex. This is the difference between living as a slave to emotion and living as the master of your inner world. Marcus Aurelius understood this distinction better than anyone. He ruled an empire surrounded by chaos, conflict, betrayal, and endless demands. Yet his writings reveal a man who responded with composure, clarity, and deliberate action. He reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." This is not motivation, it's a warning. The moment you allow external events to control you, you surrender the only power that was ever truly yours. Modern life constantly pulls people into reaction mode. Traffic, notifications, arguments, criticism, misunderstandings, disrespect, pressure. Most people react instantly, emotionally, and later regret the words they spoke or the decisions they made. A weak mind apologizes for outbursts again and again because it never learned to pause. But the pause is the power, the breath before responding, the space where clarity appears, the moment emotion loosens and reason returns. Think of an argument. A weak mind rushes to win. A strong mind steps back to understand. Think of disrespect. A weak mind explodes. A strong mind remains grounded, knowing someone else's chaos doesn't deserve control over its inner state. Think of stress. A weak mind spirals. A strong mind steadies itself and asks, "What is mine to control right now?" Reactivity is the fastest way to lose control of your life. Responsiveness is the fastest way to reclaim it. The truth is simple. Every trigger is a test. Every insult is a mirror. Every difficulty is an opportunity to practice mastery instead of surrendering to impulse. Marcus used difficulty as training. He treated irritation, delay, and frustration as chances to strengthen the mind, not by suppressing emotion, but by directing it, like a river guided with intention instead of flooding everything in its path. So how do you build this kind of mind? You train yourself to pause before moving. You teach your body to breathe before speaking. You let awareness rise before emotion does. You step into the role of observer first, participant second. You remind yourself that you cannot control another person's tone, actions, opinions, or choices, but you can always control the meaning you assign to them, and the meaning you choose determines the life you live. A reactive mind is loud, chaotic, and unstable. A responsive mind is calm, deliberate, and difficult to manipulate. When you stop reacting, something powerful happens. People lose their ability to control you. Situations lose their power to break you. Emotions lose their ability to sabotage you. You become someone who moves with intention, not desperation. Someone who thinks before speaking. Someone whose presence cannot be shaken. Anchor this truth with one line: I respond. I do not react. 3. Weak minds live for validation. A weak mind is addicted to approval. It needs to be liked, praised, noticed, accepted, and constantly reassured. It reshapes itself around other people's expectations. It waits for permission to feel worthy. It becomes what the crowd demands, never what the soul requires. This is the trap of validation. The moment your happiness depends on how others see you, you surrender ownership of your life. You become a prisoner to opinions that shift like weather. You chase respect in all the wrong places, unaware that the people you try hardest to please often don't even respect themselves. Marcus Aurelius warned against this illusion. He wrote about the emptiness of applause, the fleeting nature of public opinion, and the foolishness of seeking approval from people who barely understand themselves. To him, living for validation was a form of inner weakness, because it meant your value was negotiable. He saw clearly what most people still ignore. When you rely on others to feel confident, you collapse the moment they disapprove. Look closely at the habits of a weak mind. It posts to be noticed, not to express. It speaks to impress, not to tell the truth. It works to be praised, not to be excellent. It trades authenticity for acceptance. It hides flaws instead of correcting them. Over time, it becomes hollow, performative, and exhausted, because pretending drains the soul. A strong mind moves differently. It understands that validation is a trap. It does not chase applause. It does not measure its worth by comments, reactions, compliments, or attention. It walks its own path, guided by values rather than noise. A strong mind knows this truth. Respect grows from integrity, not popularity. Peace comes from alignment, not approval. Confidence is built on self-respect, not attention. Think of the moments when you betrayed yourself just to be accepted. Saying yes when you wanted to say no. Shrinking when you wanted to speak. Pretending agreement to avoid conflict. Each moment was a quiet transaction where you exchanged authenticity for approval, and each transaction weakened the foundation of who you are. Marcus Aurelius lived as proof that a person becomes strongest the moment they stop fearing misunderstanding. He didn't write meditations for an audience. He wrote for himself to stay grounded, honest, and upright. Even when the world questioned his choices, misunderstood his intentions, or whispered behind his back, he remained anchored. You become powerful the moment you stop needing people to see you a certain way. Imagine how your life would change if your sense of worth came from your actions, your discipline, your character, and your inner standards, not from shifting opinions. You would stop performing. You would stop defending. You would stop chasing. You would finally begin living. So make the shift. Seek respect from yourself first. When you do, something remarkable happens. The respect of others may follow, but even if it doesn't, your inner strength remains untouched. Repeat this until it settles in your bones. I choose respect, not validation. 4. Weak minds avoid the truth. A weak mind runs from truth. It avoids mirrors. It avoids accountability. It avoids anything that exposes its patterns, flaws, or contradictions. It prefers comforting lies over uncomfortable clarity. It chooses denial because denial feels safe, at least briefly. But nothing destroys a person faster than refusing to face reality. Avoidance doesn't protect you. It quietly corrodes you. It turns small problems into heavy burdens. It turns simple corrections into painful consequences. It transforms opportunities for growth into cycles of regret. Marcus Aurelius confronted truth relentlessly, not because it was pleasant, but because he understood the cost of ignorance. His writings reveal a man who examined his motives, weaknesses, impulses, and fears with ruthless honesty. He didn't pretend to be flawless. He worked to be aware. He worked to be sincere. He chose to see himself clearly, even when the reflection was uncomfortable. He knew truth is not an enemy. Truth is a compass. Truth is discipline. Truth is the only foundation strong enough to build a meaningful life upon. Yet most people treat truth like a threat. They avoid looking at neglected health, outgrown relationships, postponed responsibilities, and habits quietly shaping a future they don't want. They convince themselves they're fine because admitting otherwise feels uncomfortable. But clarity requires courage. Honesty demands strength. Growth demands exposure. You cannot fix what you refuse to face. You cannot outrun the truth you keep avoiding. Life will always bring it back to your door. A strong mind chooses differently. It looks directly at what feels inconvenient or painful. It admits mistakes instead of hiding them. It acknowledges weakness instead of defending it. It tells the truth, even when the truth complicates things. It uses honesty, not to shame itself, but to sharpen itself. Consider how powerful you become when you stop lying to yourself. Your relationships clean up. Your decisions sharpen. Your habits align. Your direction becomes clear. You stop wasting energy on illusions and start investing it in reality. Marcus embraced truth because he understood one simple principle. It is better to feel the sting of honesty now than the agony of consequences later. You don't need perfection. You need honesty. Honesty with yourself. Honesty in your actions. Honesty in your values. Honesty in your direction. Say it with conviction. Truth strengthens me. 5. Weak minds blame. Strong minds take ownership. A weak mind immediately looks outward when something goes wrong. It blames people, circumstances, timing, childhood, luck, society, anything except itself. Blame is easy. Blame feels comforting. Blame allows a person to feel innocent while remaining unchanged. But blame carries a hidden cost. The moment you blame someone else, you surrender your power. You declare that your life is controlled by forces you cannot influence. You reduce your role in your own story. You become a spectator instead of a creator. Marcus Aurelius rejected this mindset completely. He understood that ownership is not about self-blame. It is about self-command. He believed true strength begins with responsibility, claiming your choices, your reactions, your patterns, and your direction. Not to punish yourself, but to free yourself. Because the truth is simple. You cannot change what you refuse to own. You cannot break cycles you refuse to acknowledge. You cannot evolve while pointing fingers at everything except your own decisions. A weak mind hides behind excuses. A strong mind uses reality as raw material for growth. A weak mind says, "They made me feel this way." A strong mind says, "I decide what I do next." A weak mind avoids responsibility. A strong mind embraces it, because responsibility is the birthplace of power. Look honestly at the areas of your life where you've avoided accountability. The relationships where you always play the victim. The work you blame on others instead of improving your effort. The goals you abandoned and blamed on circumstances instead of commitment. The emotions you allowed to control you while pretending someone else caused them. Once you see this clearly, everything changes. Responsibility stops feeling like a burden and becomes liberation. It means you finally become the architect of your life instead of a passenger in it. It means you stop waiting for people to apologize, change, or validate your feelings before you act. It means you take ownership of how you show up, how you react, how you speak, how you choose, and how you move forward. Marcus lived by a simple principle. The world may hurt you, but it cannot decide who you become. Only you can. Imagine the strength you would gain if you stopped outsourcing your happiness, your discipline, your progress, and your growth. Imagine how quickly your life would shift if every setback became fuel, every mistake became instruction, and every challenge became training. Ownership is the foundation of a powerful mind. Blame is the foundation of a fragile one. Remind yourself of this truth. I own my choices. 6. Weak minds chase pleasure. Strong minds choose discipline. A weak mind is always hunting for the next hit of pleasure. It lives for comfort, stimulation, entertainment, and escape. It seeks softness, ease, distraction, anything that keeps it from feeling discomfort. But a life built on pleasure collapses the moment reality demands strength. Pleasure is seductive because it seems harmless, a small indulgence, a quick escape, a quiet avoidance disguised as reward. But repeated often enough, pleasure becomes dependency, and dependency becomes weakness. Marcus Aurelius warned about this trap. He saw how chasing desire drains the soul and leaves a person vulnerable to anything that promises temporary relief. Pleasure is never satisfied. The more you feed it, the more it demands. The more you obey it, the less control you have over your own life. A weak mind chases easy dopamine, endless scrolling, comfort eating, emotional escape, shallow entertainment, habits that numb instead of strengthen. It treats discipline as punishment and indulgence as self-care. It confuses feeling good with being good and slowly loses its tolerance for difficulty. A strong mind understands something deeper. Pleasure may entertain you, but discipline transforms you. Pleasure lightens life for a moment. Discipline strengthens you for a lifetime. Pleasure fades quickly. Discipline builds character, resilience, clarity, and self-respect. Discipline is not cruelty. It is alignment. It is remembering who you intend to become and acting in accordance with that identity even when your emotions resist. It is choosing the long-term over the immediate, the meaningful over the comfortable, the necessary over the easy. Consider how differently your life would unfold if you stopped chasing emotional relief and started choosing intentional action. If you stopped feeding urges and began feeding purpose. If you stopped escaping discomfort and started treating it as a doorway to mastery. Pleasure offers a momentary high. Discipline builds a permanent foundation. Marcus understood that desire is a fire. It can warm you or it can burn you. Without discipline, desire consumes you. With discipline, desire becomes something you direct instead of something that directs you. Strength is built by choosing what is right over what is easy. Growth comes from doing what your future self will appreciate, not what your present mood prefers. Peace comes from living in alignment with your values rather than your cravings. Whisper this to yourself until it becomes instinct. Discipline over pleasure. 7. Weak minds fear discipline. Strong minds rely on it. A weak mind fears discipline, not because discipline is painful, but because it threatens the ego. Discipline forces you to confront inconsistency, excuses, avoidance, and the distance between who you are and who you claim to be. A weak mind prefers comfort over challenge. It prefers sameness over accountability. Discipline reveals truth, and truth exposes weakness. That is why fragile minds run from structure, avoid responsibility, reject routine, and resist anything that demands sustained effort. They choose chaos because chaos demands nothing. They choose impulse because impulse feels immediate. They choose delay because delay feels safe. Marcus Aurelius lived by a very different code. To him, discipline was not punishment, it was self-respect, a daily vow, a private agreement with himself, proof that his principles were not ideas to admire, but actions to live by. He treated discipline as inner governance, ruling the self before attempting to rule anything else. He understood that a man who cannot command his own actions, emotions, and habits has no authority beyond himself. A strong mind depends on discipline the way fire depends on oxygen, not because discipline makes life easier, but because it makes life clearer. Structure becomes direction, routine becomes stability, consistency becomes quiet strength, order becomes protection against the chaos that weakens others. Notice the contrast. A weak mind wakes up and waits to feel like acting. A strong mind acts and allows the feeling to follow. A weak mind breaks promises to itself. A strong mind keeps commitments even when no one is watching. A weak mind negotiates with resistance. A strong mind moves through resistance deliberately. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about alignment. It is choosing principle over emotion, long-term vision over short-term indulgence, identity over impulse. Every disciplined action declares, I am in control of myself. Every undisciplined action quietly admits, something else is controlling me. When discipline enters your life, everything shifts. You move with certainty. You think with clarity. You carry a presence others can feel. You trust yourself more deeply because your actions match your intentions. You stop living on emotional autopilot and begin living with purpose. You become someone others can rely on, and more importantly, someone you can rely on. Marcus understood that discipline builds the architecture of character, not once, not occasionally, but through consistent, unwavering commitment. The strongest minds in history were not born strong. They were built through deliberate self-governance. Repeat this until it becomes identity. Discipline is my foundation. I depend on it. 8. The Mind Reinforcement Protocol. A weak mind is not formed in a single moment, and a strong mind is not built in one either. Strength is created through reinforcement, small, repeated acts of alignment that reshape how you think, react, choose, and live. Strength is not an event. Strength is a pattern. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He did not write meditations to impress anyone. He wrote to retrain himself, to remind himself, to sharpen himself. Each line was a reinforcement of identity, a return to principle, a recalibration toward virtue. He wasn't trying to become someone new. He was reminding himself who he was capable of being. A mind grows weak through repeated avoidance, distraction, emotional chaos, and unexamined impulses. A mind grows strong through repeated clarity, intention, honesty, and disciplined action. Whatever you reinforce becomes who you eventually become. Reinforcement begins with awareness. The moment you notice yourself slipping into old patterns, reacting too quickly, seeking validation, blaming others, chasing pleasure, escaping discomfort, you pause and redirect. Not with judgment, but with authority. Not with guilt, but with responsibility. You remind your mind that a higher standard exists. Then comes alignment. You choose actions that reflect the person you are becoming, not the person your emotions want you to remain. You speak with intention. You move with purpose. You act in ways that strengthen rather than weaken you. Even the smallest act of integrity becomes mental conditioning. This was Marcus's protocol. Train the mind until strength becomes the default, until discipline feels natural, until clarity feels familiar, until honesty feels necessary, until calmness feels automatic. Say this to yourself with unshakable conviction: I reinforce the mind I choose to live with. You've now walked through the patterns that weaken the mind and the practices that rebuild it. And one simple truth now stands clearly before you. Your life will rise or fall according to the strength of your mind, not your circumstances, not your luck, not the behavior of others, your mind. Marcus Aurelius did not become powerful because the world was gentle to him. He became powerful because he mastered the only kingdom he truly controlled, his inner world. And that same kingdom is in your hands. If you choose discomfort over escape, intention over impulse, responsibility over blame, honesty over denial, and discipline over pleasure, the weak mind cannot survive. It will dissolve, and in its place, the strongest version of you will emerge. Carry this with you as you move forward. I destroy my weak mind, and I build the mind of a ruler.